Hello everyone. In the last video where I did a data visualization of sales data, where revenue aggregation by both quarters and revenue percentage contribution by respective customers which are acquired in the past quarters was done. So this video is continuation of the last video. There we did that exercise in Tableau. In this video, let's do the same in Salesforce Analytics. Since we have to calculate and label customer acquired by for the respective customers in Salesforce Analytics, I need to transform the data in Receipe. Let's go through the recipe which I built already. So as you can see, the major transformation is on this calculated field, that is LOD quarter customer acquired. So let's quickly go through the formula once. Right. So here in Tableau, we did this through something called level of details. Fixed level of detail is what we have used to identify which customer has get acquired in which quarter, and we label that particular customer in the data set. So something similar, we will be doing it in Salesforce Recipe. So let's go. So I am in Salesforce Analytics, and I have created this recipe in the data manager, and let's go through this recipe step by step. So the first step of the recipe, where we have imported uh, the same data which we imported in Tableau. It has all the details, all the fields uh, like quantity, invoice ID, unit price, customer ID, and invoice timestamp. So one information, if for the clarity, so invoice timestamp will hold all the data of the year 2011. We don't have any other year other than 2011, and 2011 year will have four quarters, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's move forward and explore the first transformation. So in the first transformation, so we are calculating the revenue, which is quite straightforward. That is quantity into unit price. The second transformation is changing the data type of customer ID. So customer ID is a numeric value here, but it signify the unique customer number. So we want to do the aggregation based on this. So this is important that we change the uh, data type to text so that it can be identified as a dimension but not a measure. The third transformation, let's explore. So the third transformation is nothing but we have a date field called invoice timestamp. So it tells about exactly when that transaction was made, and out of the box formula is used quarter here, which will tell from this date it falls under which quarter. In a year there are four quarters: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the acceptable, or rather the allowed values for this field invoice timestamp quarter would be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, let's move to the last. Right. So the last transformation in this node is, there is a conditional statement here. The quarter which we calculated, if it has a value 1, then it will simply simply add Q to it to make it Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4. So we basically want a text field uh, as with value Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, and we are labeling that field as invoice quarter. So this is the important field. Based on that, we will do the second level of aggregation. All right. Okay. So let's move to the transform one. So transform one, if you see, it's almost similar to transform zero. The first two transformation of transform zero is applied in transform one. So basically, it is changing the quarter. It is calculating the revenue in the data set and changing the data type of customer ID feed to text. Now, after transform zero, the output of transform zero will go into aggregate zero node. And here what we are doing. So let's check closely. So here what we are doing is we are aggregating the data by customer ID. So customer ID is a text field now, which was previously a numeric field. And what exactly we are doing here is we are aggregating the invoice timestamp quarter. So invoice timestamp quarter we calculated uh, from the previous node, and here we are aggregating by minimum value. So this is what is uh, important, which we did in Tableau. We are basically calculating this particular customer when this customer has purchased his or her first product. So it will tell the minimum invoice timestamp quarter. It will tell in which quarter this particular customer falls into. So here we are aggregating by minimum value. So if you see in the preview, customer ID and minimum invoice timestamp quarter, this is the derived field, and customer ID. So all these customer IDs are fall under quarter one. So this is just a preview, so it will not tell the other quarter information. But as you can see in this preview, these customers have made their first purchase in quarter one of 2011. All right. Now let's move to the next node, that is join. So now if you can see, right, what we are basically doing is we are joining the output of aggregate zero, which has only two columns, customer ID and minimum invoice, minimum invoice quarter, right? So these two information we have in aggregate one, and almost all the data in the row level we have in transform one data. So the output of this we are joining with aggregate zero. So in join, we are joining it with customer ID, since this is the common column in both the outputs of aggregate zero and transform one. So you can see what is the output of join zero. If you can see, so these two columns are joined with customer ID, but the granularity of this data set is on each row level items, but all these items can fall under one customer, and we are joining that particular customer ID with the output of aggregate 0. Now that we have the data, one whole data in join 0, let's do the second set of transformation. So in the second set of transformation, let's explore. This is a conditional statement. So this field with minimum invoice timestamp quarter, if it is 1, we are simply adding Q1. So it signify the quarter 1. Similarly, if the value is 2, then it would be Q2 and Q3, else Q4. And we have given a name to this field is customer acquired quarter. So this particular field will tell uh, with uh, with a character appended as Q uh, that this particular customer fall under which quarter. All right, and some of the columns were dropped since customer ID is all we already have the customer ID in transform 1, so we don't need the customer ID same field from aggregate 0, so we are dropping this column. And then we have another conditional statement. If you remember, we have invoice timestamp quarter. If the value is 1, we are simply just adding another field to the data set, which will tell simply if there for each record, it will check the invoice timestamp and we'll find the invoice time quarter of that invoice timestamp. And if it is 1, then it would be quarter 1. If it's 2, it would be quarter 2. Similarly, quarter 3 and quarter 4. And the column label is invoice timestamp quarter. So important thing here to notice is we need two columns, which is invoice timestamp quarter, which we are getting it from transform 2, and we also need yeah, we also need customer acquired quarter, which we are getting it in first transformation. So first and third transformation is what we are finally getting the two fields in the data set. Finally, we are registering it and we are registering it in the data set called final gift retailer international online sales. So I have already run this uh, recipe and already generated the data set. Let's go to the data set. Let's do a sum by revenue, the bar. Now we need the bar as first aggregation. We want to do it by the quarters of 2011 year, that is invoice timestamp quarter. So we have the value quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. It tells how much revenue was accumulated in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 and quarter 4. And then we also will do the grouping based on customer acquired quarter. So now if you can see, quarter 1 only have one quarter, that is Q1, but in quarter 2 we have Q1 and Q2. Similarly in quarter 3 Q1, Q2, Q3, and quarter 4 Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So in quarter 4 we have a customer of Q1 who contributed the revenue of 304K. Similarly, uh, we have customer of Q2 who have contributed 43K. And similarly, in Q4, those are the new customer which got acquired in quarter 4. They contributed a total revenue of 62K. So net we have this visualization, but we want the visualization similar to what we generated in Tableau. So let's try to do that. Let's change the chart. We need stack chart vertically. All right, we have the chart now. The next thing is we don't want uh, the exact value, but we want to uh, display or rather distribute the data in the bar as a percentage. So to do that, let's create another field. Let's keep the column alias same. I'll make the column header name as percentage revenue. So already we have certain function which will do the group calculation. So percentage of group, I will be using it. So here automatically it will take the column A, that is sum of revenue, which is fairly clear. And what is this reset group? So reset group is what? For quarter 2, if you see Q1 and Q2 are the only two customer acquired quarter. So we want to calculate the percentage of quarter 2 and percentage within quarter 3 and percentage within quarter 4. So the reset value would be invoice times time quarter. So I'll be selecting invoice times time quarter in this visualization. And the format we want as percentage. There are other format also. We want the percentage. We'll keep it and let's click apply. So now if you see in quarter 1 Q1, the percentage revenue is 100%. But in quarter 2, we have two customer acquired quarter, right? That is Q1 and Q2. So the percentage is changed, and it when we add up these two percentage, it would be 100%. Similarly, in quarter 4, if we add up all the B column, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, it will add up to 100%. So this is what we need. All right, let's close. We don't need the first value. Let's remove. Let's hide it. All right. So there we go. We we have the visualization. Quarter 1, that is 100%. In quarter 2, Q1 is 75.22% and Q2 is 24.78%. So similarly, we have Q3 and Q4. We have uh, in quarter 4 we have Q1 contribution is still 69.46% and Q4 are the newest customer. They contributed 14.12%. Similarly, Q3 and Q3 values are here. So now we have the similar visualization what we demonstrated in Tableau, and this is the visualization in Salesforce Analytics. Hope you find this video helpful, useful. If if you find it so, I'm very glad. And thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.